live 304 Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. This is an stspod.club production. It's dark in here. I'm still having some technical problems with my light, but I want to welcome you to the third episode. I'm the longtime producer of The Record Store. Each one of these shows, Hit Me With Your First Shot, will be featuring a guest who brings the first album they ever bought. We will review and talk about it and have some fun with it. Today's guest is bringing us back to the first album they ever bought. And trust me, it's a good one. Welcome one of my co-hosts of Retro Wrestling Review Podcast, USWA Retro Wrestling Review Podcast. Josh, how the hell are you?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. How about you, BT?
Oh, I'm fired up. This is our third episode, and we're right smack in the middle of Rocktober. So what I decided to do for Rocktober this year, this is our sixth annual. So what we went all the way back to the first one, and we do a music podcast, and we do a wrestling podcast about The Rock. So I said, what the hell? I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring my USWA guys along for the first week of October. You're doing this, being released today here on a Monday. And then this coming Thursday, we'll have Gene joins me for Was It Really That Good? And it's about Flex Cavana. We look at his first match in Memphis on Memphis TV, his first promo, and we even watch his last match. So it's fun. It's real fun. So what album did you bring to the table for me today?
Well, man, you said bring the first album. I looked all over for the cassette, dude. I couldn't find it. but it was Poison, Open Up and Say Ah. So we talked about this, through text message, just kind of like saying, well, what is it? Right. And, I didn't personally buy it. I was so young. I had to get my mama to buy it for me. I was 6 years old. And, man, as we are recording right now, just a day or so ago, it was announced that MTV is shutting down all of their music channels that they have left operating I guess maybe at the end of the year or something to that effect. But MTV is the reason that I even know about Poison, because before I was buying albums, the only thing I knew was my older cousins would watch MTV to essentially know what was cool and what wasn't. And when I saw Nothing But a Good Time, the video, my fucking life changed, BT. I'm telling you, I got obsessed with the song initially, and I just loved catching the video because it looked like a literal good time. And as we've talked before in other shows about other things, my favorite color is green. I'm saying that because of the green fire truck. You know about that story,
right?
Green fire truck for Christmas. But they had a lot of the green going on, with the neon green, and that really caught my eye. And from that moment on, man, it didn't take long. Mom, I've got to have this tape.
Awesome. I bought my first Poison album in '86. It was in Blytheville, Arkansas at a mom and pop's record store. And I turned around, it was a CD, and I picked up the CD and I turned around to the guy that was working and I said, "Are these chicks any good?"
You must have had Look What the Cat Dragged.
Yes, that's what I bought right there. And so he said, "Man, those are guys." And so it was glam rock. We finally, or glam metal, whatever. During halftime, where we go over 10 facts, you said something about MTV. There is a fact about MTV in there. That'll be good. But I started thinking about this, where I bought this at. So it's 1988. So I'm in my third year of college, which is my first year in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And either I bought it at Sam Goody at the mall in Jonesboro, or you're going to love this, I got it through Columbia House.
Hell yeah. Hey, I was a BMG guy, but that was just the one that let me follow through with it essentially and sent me the.
Oh yes, I got to tell my Columbia House story sometime on the music podcast. We may do a whole episode just about Columbia House because man, I got a fun story.
That would
But
be
let's
really
do
cool.
this is what we do every time. We'll do the first side. I'll come back. I got some questions, and then we'll do halftime. Come back with the second side. We always do Patreon. It's a little different, so we'll have some fun with that. So let's start. First side, well, you say you bought cassette.
Yes.
I had this on CD, but I always like to do, as if we had the album and we were playing the album. So the first song is Love on the Rocks, and it just kicks in, it goes in, and by just listening to that, you kind of know what kind of band you're listening to, is what I thought.
Yeah, man, that's perfect to what I was going to say because I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like we talked about, Look What the Cat Dragged In before. I bought that second, hoping that it would be like this album because as a young kid, like I said, I'm 6 years old. I'm not very going with the flow in terms of change. So Open Up and Say Ah, the presentation that I know of Poison that I'm seeing on MTV is that era. And when I bought Look What the Cat Dragged In, I didn't really take to it very good. But yeah, whenever I got the cassette, I put in my little Walkman. We got cassette because my mom bought me a Walkman with headphones so she wouldn't have to listen to what I was listening to.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why we had I never thought about that, Josh, but you're right. The main reason that we had headphones had nothing to do with us wanting headphones, had to do with us playing the music so loud.
Right.
And our parents not wanting to hear it. So they didn't want to hear that bullshit. My dad and mom had a total different and I went back and listened to a lot of their stuff. They had a different music taste, and I fell in love with like Waylon Jennings and the Outlaws album and Fleetwood Mac and everything that my mom and dad listened to. So, well, the second song. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I got more receptive to the stuff that they like. My parents being they like later on, like in my 20s and stuff. After I matured in my what I would allow into my life, because like when you're a teenager and shit, you're just like, no, that's not cool, and I would just throw walls up. You know what I mean? If I only
right.
What I liked,
you wanted to listen to what everybody else was listening to. You didn't want to. I was lucky. I had a couple friends that we listened to music together, but one friend was into heavy metal and kind of independent stuff, and another friend was mainly into stuff that was on the radio all the time. Yeah. So I had a mixture of both. Let's go to the second song because you said this was the video that you.
The point I was going to make on the first one was whenever you press play, the point I was trying to make of getting used to that certain feel and not really liking change. This first song was just paired hand in hand with that feel that I was looking for. Man, it has that big time Poison, just a feel good song, and
it's smooth too. This album's so smooth. All right, Nothing But a Good Time. Here's something. Now, remember when I get these albums and you text me or whatever, I sit and I listen to them at least on and off for the week. I have it on. It's what I listen to if I'm not listening to a podcast. Nothing But a Good Time was always one of my favorite songs off of this album, but I did not notice or remember it's almost like they're doing the Ric Flair woo. They go, woo! They do it 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, oh my God, that's the Rick. But yeah, this is one of those songs that if you don't even know Poison, you still have heard this song. It's one of those songs.
Oh, yeah, it's in advertising and stuff, and it was really huge at this time. I mean, when I hear it, though, I think of my grandma's house watching MTV, and then I think of the skating ring because that's what we call it in Tennessee, BT, the skating ring.
Skating ring. Yep. I've heard that many a times, but I thought it was a skating ring for years. So.
Well, yeah, it's round like a ring. But either way, I think of the skating rink and just, skating to it and stuff and literally having a good time.
Yeah. I like I said, it is a Poison song, and if you haven't, if you don't know about Poison, you've heard this song somewhere.
And watch the video. Go to YouTube and watch the video because it's got it's not just them up there performing. It's got like a whole little cinematic type, dude working and shit.
Yeah. The third song is Back to the Rocking Horse, Back to the Rocking Horse, which I found, I like this song, but the first lyrics, like I said, I got new stuff coming at me here. All the king's horses and all the king's men ain't got a hope in hell of putting my pieces back together again. We used the Humpty Dumpty nursing rhyme here.
And it worked for me, dude. I was a kid. I was like, hell yeah, I know that from somewhere.
Yeah, I just was like, what? I rewound it and listened to it again, and I went to Google and I said, give me the lyrics. Is that what they just said? And yeah, that's kind of what got me on this song. But I like that song too. Good album overall. We'll talk about it as we go on. But the fourth song to me is a booty call song. Good love. It sounds like that's he just wants some good loving. He's calling up somebody. Come on, man. That's all it's about. Is that what you got out of that too?
Well, I didn't look at it at that time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought, he's just trying to get a girlfriend. I didn't know what he was going to do with her. But, yeah, I liked the feel of this song, too, when I was a kid. I thought it was, risque. And when you're that age, you're like, oh, it's something I shouldn't be listening to. But it was, awesome.
Yeah. No song on the first side. And I'll talk about the total is less than 40 minutes for this album, which is just so surprising to me to think albums were that quick. But the longest song is the last song, the fifth song on the album, is 3 minutes and 50 seconds. It's Tearing Down the Walls. This song sounds like their version of Beth. Like, I'm coming home. When I get home, we're gonna tear down the walls. We're gonna have some fun.
He's gonna tear down some walls. Who knows?
He's gonna tear up something. But it reminded me of Beth. It was their version of Beth, a little naughtier. But hey, I'm coming home, and when I get home, I'm gonna take care of some business. So there we go. Okay, so what made you choose this album? Why did you want? And you pretty much said that. I'm gonna ask you, this is kind of the origin story of you buying it. So you saw the clips on MTV, and you asked your mom you want to get this one, right?
Well, yeah, because it was a pain in the ass to try to time this shit out. Being 6 years old, you're not time oriented like you are now. So it was just, I knew at some point I could turn on MTV and just wait for the VJs to at least say, and coming up, we've got this band, that band, Poison. And if they said Poison, I was almost sure that it would be that song because it was the newest video out. But yeah, like I said, it wasn't just I didn't have it recorded because, I wasn't very aware of how to record.
You wasn't bootlegging then. We eventually we all got double cassette decks, or we took one of those cassette players. Now I'm just saying what I did. I took one of the cassette players that had, where it's a recorder also, and you put it up against the radio so that you get your favorite song and you record it. These kids, they don't know what we had to do to listen to music these days, back in the day. So,
like I said, I was obsessed with it. So I was compelled to, like I said, this was the first time I ever asked my mother to buy me anything music oriented.
Do you remember where she bought it at?
I'm almost 100% sure it was the local Walmart.
Oh, that's so good because.
And you know, it's interesting because if you look at the cover now.
Oh, wait. Yeah, don't say anything.
Okay.
I got at halftime, I'm going to show both versions of the cover.
Yeah. I got the Walmart version.
There's a reason why. So, do you remember anything else that was happening? You're 6 years old, but anything else that was happening in your life during this time? Your family, your friends, what was up? What was going on?
100%, man. 6 years old, dude. I look back like super fondly because I actually liked, the class that I was in at school, which is a rarity, and like the kids were cool in the class, and musically I was really starting to get into, like I said, I was obsessed with this, and I would start, I was seeing Def Leppard and fucking Guns N' Roses was just starting to, I was catching on to that with the videos and stuff, and I was into fucking like wrestling super heavy with WWF at this time, and like NWA as well. And I was a really happy kid, man. And this album specifically makes me happy because I look back at this time period extremely fondly.
Did you feel like you was cool with it? You was cool, or was it afterwards? You're like, why did I get this? Did you think?
Oh, no. No, absolutely not, man. Like I felt like none of these kids at school are talking about this shit.
No one gets you, Josh. No one gets you.
Well, I was just so into music,
right.
And like nobody really like those kids were talking about toys and cartoons and shit. But I liked all of that stuff, but I also really, really liked to listen to music and watch videos and stuff. So like, a lot of times they may be like I said, watching cartoons or something. I'm watching MTV,
right?
Because that's what my older cousins did, and I wanted to be just like them.
I think it's just, I never think about that, but we talked about that with Scotty on the last episode. But MTV really did influence me and everyone in that era, because you would. Number one, Nirvana was one of the bands that I saw the very first maybe 2 minutes of the song Teen Spirit, and was ready to go to the mall right then to get that album. That's how crazy it was. And MTV changed all that. They made you, and there's people that there's songs that I did not like, Josh, just because. One of them is the Eurythmics' "Sweet Dreams." I hated that song because I hated the video.
Right.
I absolutely love it now. I love the song now. I don't have to watch the video. I just listen to the music. But it did shape what we were doing. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, as always, right smack in the middle, we do halftime 10 interesting facts about this album. Wrestling fans, are you ready? Every Friday night in Osceola, Arkansas, MCW, the legacy continues. Live, hard-hitting, family-friendly wrestling action every Friday night at the MCW Arena, located at 1098 West Kaiser. Doors open at 6:30 and the action starts at 8 p.m. sharp. Don't miss your chance to see the stars of MCW battling out in the ring, rivals, drama, and slam-packed action. Following wrestling superstars are appearing: Chase McCoy, C-Money, LA Hustlers, Party Factor, Zaya Wolf, DJ Cash, JT Williams, Galen Ray, Serpent, 187, Luke, Justice, and many, many more. Here's what I want you to do. If you have any questions, I want you to search Facebook for Osceola's Mid-Southern Championship Wrestling. All ticket information, how to get your ticket, what time the show starts, everything right there on Facebook. All tickets are on sale right now. Be there!
Don't miss Memphis Wrestling Live. Sunday, November 2nd, Frankie Kazarian is coming to Memphis Wrestling. Plus, viral sensation, Famous Amos. All tickets are on sale now. Get yours right now at memphiswrestling.tv.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at uswapodcast.com.
All right, we're ready for halftime. All right, halftime. 10 crazy facts about this album, or just fun facts. Paul Stanley of Kiss was originally scheduled to produce this album, which I just found out today while looking at some research. Thought I'd bring it up because we lost Ace Frehley this past weekend. Hated that. A huge Kiss fan. Paul Stanley had something else he had to do. So let's look. So the original cover showed a demon-faced woman with a long tongue. Let's go ahead and see it. There it is right there. But guess what? Walmart refused to sell it. So Poison ended up with this cover. So
there it is.
That's the cover you got. So it was at Walmart, huh?
Yeah, that's I never saw never seen the other cover until I was an adult, I guess.
Oh wow. Well, the thing about it is it's all about business. And back then people say, well, why was it such a big deal at Walmart? Walmart and Kmart were the places that, and I talked about the independent record store, but there was not, and this goes back to Columbia House too, there was not a lot of independent small record stores in mid-America, in these little small towns. So Columbia House was popular during right smack in the middle of the United States. And also Walmart, if Walmart didn't sell your album, there was a chance you weren't going to be successful. So yeah, they switched it around real quick. Every Rose Has Its Thorn. It came from a real heartbreak. Bret Michaels wrote it after calling his girlfriend from a laundromat payphone while on tour and hearing a man's voice in the background. He finished the song that same night sitting on a washing machine with his acoustic guitar. So yeah, that song was written in a laundromat. Okay, so the original cover showed, that's what we talked about, the demon. It was recorded in a mansion. It was called Rumbo Records in Los Angeles, a studio owned by members of the Captain and Tennille, and part of it was tracked in a Beverly Hills mansion rented by the band. We talked about this, but CC DeVille, the guitarist, had a special kind of style of guitar, and you can hear, and he used custom pickups and tons of overdrives, what they're saying. As we talked about, it's that you can, as soon as you hear that track, especially on Nothing But a Good Time, you know it's Poison. And if you're a Poison fan, you know it's CC DeVille. Also about Nothing But a Good Time was inspired by a dishwashing job. Before fame, Bret Michaels worked in a restaurant washing dishes, or washing dishes, as we say.
Washing dishes.
He wrote the song as a fantasy anthem about escaping a dead-end job and living free. Fallen Angel tells the band's own Hollywood story. The song about a small town girl heading into LA was all about them on their own journey. They came from Pennsylvania and went to the Sunset Strip. And as it says here, they traded small clothes for MTV fame, which we know that's for sure. They almost made it to number one with this album. It peaked at number 2, Billboard 200, and at number 1 was Def Leppard's Hysteria. So there you go. Def Leppard was on top. MTV made it huge. As you said, it was all about that. Videos for Nothing But a Good Time and Every Rose Has Its Thorn were in heavy MTV rotation, helping the album sell millions. Poison's look and humor were perfect for MTV. I agree. It was almost like
yes. Can I say this while you said that?
Go ahead.
Because I wanted to say this too. I put over the green that they got over in, in Nothing But a Good Time video. But I also want to say too, like, for whatever reason, when I was a kid, you know, the way that shit was portrayed in like a lot of 80s movies and television shows, where if you were a blonde-headed person, you were an instant babyface, right? Well, right. Poison, 3 of the 4 members are fucking bleach blonde heads. So I was so attracted that there's some good guys, man. They got to be good guys. Look at that hair.
And they look like wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know, I never thought about that. But when I looked at that cover, I said, who are these girls? And then after that, all I could think about is they look like wrestlers of that era. They paid only $30,000 to record this. That's a small budget for an album. It being their second album, I guess the company didn't want to spend a lot of money, but they ended up selling 5 million copies of this, and it's still sold today. And you can get it on any kind of format or platform that you want to now. And we will put a link if you're listening to this and you go, "What the hell are those old guys talking about?" I will put a link in the description so you can go to YouTube and you can listen to it for free, guys. That was Halftime. All right, Halftime. All right, let's go to Second Side real quick. It's got one of the most famous songs, Poison songs on it, but it starts out with "You can look, but you can't touch."
Because baby, I ain't for keeps.
There is something in that song. He says the girl has not had sin in her life or something like that. I didn't write the exact, but then he starts talking about she's gonna let him watch or look, but it's not gonna actually be able to do anything. All I could think about is he picked up a hooker, and the hooker said, "Nah, we can't do nothing. We're not gonna do it."
I see a stripper.
Maybe a stripper that wouldn't let him touch or something.
Yeah,
you're
that's
right
what
about that. Like that song, I really do.
Hell yeah.
The next song I really like too is "Fallen Angel," and it reminds me of they say it's about them, but what I could see was it was about a runaway that run away from Middle America and went to LA to make it big, and the whole story. And I mean, it's just a great song.
Yeah, and I liked the video too because it kind of went back to the same stage set as they had in Nothing But a Good Time as well. A lot of the same equipment.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. I'll have to go back.
Yeah,
and watch
like
some of those
when they're doing the performing end of it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I loved it as well because exact same feel.
Right. The longest song on the album, and I would say the most popular song of Poison, especially when it comes to like American Idol and all this kind of stuff. Every Rose Has Its Thorn. It's their ballad on this one. A big shout out to my friend Jack Diamond, or Jackie Hicks Jr. Rest in peace, bro. He would sing this at every bar that we was at. if he could find a microphone, this is a song he really could. He could play it and he could also sing it. So I heard this song a lot growing up.
Yeah, and again, going back to MTV, the video played a big part in this song, I think, because it was one of those, you know, it had a story. Like it would have the black and white footage of him being with the girl and, you know, all of that, and her getting up and leaving in the middle of the night. And, you know, it kind of like told the story and stuff. And, yeah, I like the way it was shot. And even though it was different, it was so fucking cool. And man, like you said, it was their number one song, you know.
I think it is. What do you think? I think that was, if you want to say a Poison song, that's got to be one of them.
Well, it was the one that I heard on the radio most during this time period. I didn't really hear nothing but a good time on very much on local radio at that point. But anytime I was in the car with my mom and she would have it on a hits station where they played all, you know, pop and whatever, like you would hear Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
And this was popular with these bands. The metal bands would have, especially the glam metal or the, I don't want to say heavy, real heavy ones would not have a ballad, but the glam metal and the, I want to say soft metal, but whatever. It's
hair metal.
Do what now?
The hair metal.
Hair metal, yeah. Every hair metal band had a ballad. This is one of the better ones of the time period, I think.
Oh yeah.
This
you go back to Def Leppard being number one for this year album wise. Yeah, they had some powerful shit too. That was my second cassette tape that I bought.
There you go.
The stereo.
I got the first Def Leppard album I got was, you know, because I'm older than you, was the is it Paranoia or
Pyromania?
Pyromania. Yeah, there we go. I remember the P, but I could see the little cover too, but I couldn't remember what it was. All right, the next song, I'm gonna see if you hear this when I say it. Your Mama Don't Dance reminds me of, it's like their version of Motley Crue's Smoking in the Boys' Room.
Yes,
I do. Yeah,
it's got like the same type of cadence almost, and it's
a remake.
It's a callback to who did this one? The guy that did Danger Zone. What's that guy's name?
Kenny Loggins?
Kenny Loggins. Yeah, is this a old Kenny Loggins?
I can't remember.
Musina. That's who it is. I'm pretty sure it's Loggins.
Who now?
Loggins and Musina, I guess it was.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong. You want me to look it up right now?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
Your Mama Don't Dance. You were right. Loggins,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's a little fuzzy, but I saw it.
But all I could think of is that they were listening to the Motley Crue CD and said, "Hey, they did Smoking in the Boys' Room. We got to do one just like it."
The last song, for whatever reason, dude, it seems like from like this time period and even into the 90s with rock bands, at least that I know about, you know, there was this like obsession to get them to redo some shit from, you know, a decade or two before. You know, a lot of times it was kind of like out of the character of the band.
Yeah,
you know. But this had a Poison type feel to it.
It did. It was, I mean, who picked it did a good job. Last song on the
Rock and Roll Express's fucking theme song later on in WCW when they, you know, I remember that. I guess 89 or whenever it was when they came back. This was their.
I don't even remember that. I don't remember that at all. Bad to Be Good's the last song. And he actually says in the lyrics, "If you know what I'm talking about." So that might have been where I got that from, where I say, "If you know what I'm talking about."
I'm gonna be honest with you, BT. I have zero memory of that song. I think I
didn't either. I don't even know if I would listen to this song. In my mind, I would take the CD and go back to number one,
right?
And not even listen to this song.
I think I pressed stop after the song we just got done with. Like,
Yeah.
because I had zero, because I went back and listened some as well, just to prep for the show, just to freshen up again. And yeah, I'm drawing a blank because I don't think that I listened to it at all as a kid.
Yeah. All right.
That's
here's
a
the
weird
question.
intro. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a weird feel to it.
Yeah, it's
I don't
different.
know.
It's different. It's almost like it is the last song on the album, but it reminds me of, hey, we need one more song. Okay, put this one on there.
Yeah,
kind
and
of
they definitely
thing, you
didn't
know?
do it during the same recording session or something because
Yeah.
it felt just totally different.
Yeah, it did feel different. Okay, what was the first track you played on repeat? Was it Nothing But a Good Time?
Yeah, and I guess like I would play it, but like I said, I think like I pretty much wore out just side one initially because like a lot of those songs were really upbeat,
Right.
and it didn't really bring it on down until Every Rose Has Its Thorn on side two. So I was rocking and rolling initially on side one, and I don't even know when I got around to listening to the B side of the cassette, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
because
I
I
think
really
I'm-
liked it.
I'm with you. But I think the one that I listened to over and over would have to be Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Just because that was, I listened to the other ones and then I wanted to chill and
Right.
think about what girl broke my heart. So, looking back, does the album still hold up for you? It does for me. I think it's a glam metal in its this time period, but I think it holds up well if this is the kind of music you want to listen to.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not something like that I'm going to listen to tomorrow while I'm driving, my car or something. But I might if it comes on XM or something. But I'm probably not going to just seek it out to play it. But when I hear it, it literally takes me back to a better time and place, and just that feeling alone, is so important to me. But musically, I mean, it's a 9 out of 10, literally, because I have no memory of the 10th song.
Right,
But yeah,
right.
home run hitters every single song.
Okay, so this album, did it shape, and it did for me during this, not just this album, but Poison in general, did it shape any future music taste? Did you go out of your way to keep buying Poison, or do you buy bands like this? I know I bought tons of hair metal because of Poison and Motley Crue
Well,
and Skid Row.
I what happened was I got into Poison, and then I said I hung out with my older cousins and stuff. Well, my oldest cousin, who was the only other boy in the family, like he was probably 9-10 years older than me. So he's a teenager. He's listening to Metallica and Megadeth, and he's wearing the shirts, got the long hair and shit. And he's like, "You don't need to listen to Poison. They're pussies," or something to that effect. He's like, blah, blah, blah. So like, I remember, and not that that influenced me, because I loved Poison but I loved the heavy metal riff, you know what I mean, with the guitars.
Right.
So that was like the door opening to heavy metal and stuff like that, which
It was different than Metallica, though, and it was a lighter version of metal. I kept saying,
Right.
to me, it was, Metallica, Skid Row got a little bit, they're just raw to me. And it was all LA bands, too. They were all on the strip, and, they were playing every night, different versions of them. And finally settled into these 4 guys or these 5 guys or whatever. But yeah, it was a different Metallica. I wasn't into Metallica until later on when some guy, one of my friends was like, "Do you want to go to a Metallica concert?" And I was like, "Hey, I don't have any money." That was the first thing I said. Well, the ticket's free. You can go. I've done paid for it for some girl. And then I fell in love with Metallica because after seeing a band like that live and having whiplash for 3 days afterwards from headbanging, you get into bands like that. So Let me see. Best track on the album for you. You said Nothing But a Good Time, right?
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that song more so than Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
I
And,
like that song a lot, but Every Rose Has Its Thorns maybe my best track.
I really like Love on the Rocks too.
Oh, yeah,
When I was
yeah.
a kid, that the whole feel of that song, man, I loved that shit.
And we both answered this. It said, was there a track that you skipped? Well, it was the last track. Neither one of
Yeah.
us listened to it. Didn't even have any memory of it. Is if you could duet with one artist from that album, I don't know if that's a good question for this one. Who would you want to do a duet with on that album? We'll skip that.
Me
question.
and CC DeVille versus A Mirror and a Straw.
Hell yeah. See, most cringe about this that I don't really know if it's cringy. It's just because I grew up with it, so it don't feel real cringy to me.
No, dude, like I said, when I was experiencing this, no other kid in my class was talking about music, let alone Poison. You know what I mean? So I felt very much like an individual. I know that sounds ridiculous saying about a hair metal band that was really popular, but at my age and where I was at in life, I was very much an individual, really being super obsessed with this stuff.
That's crazy. We talked about, you said you bought a CD and you got it at Walmart. This was a CD.
Cassette.
A cassette, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This was a CD for me, and I bought it at Sam Goody or got it from Columbia House. Do you remember the album you bought after this one? You said it was Def Leppard, right?
Hysteria. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't remember anything. I was buying
Steve,
tons of shit. So,
like I said before, we were talking about we were pretty much this band opening the door to harder music to me. Like the only way I got to like I said, I go from this one to Def Leppard Hysteria. Well, I wanted Appetite for Destruction, but my mother knew because somebody she worked with at that time told her, she was like, he doesn't need to listen to this. He says fuck all in a lot of songs. So blah blah blah. So I was probably like 7 before, and I got a what I call an edited version of Appetite for Destruction.
Oh wow!
In the sense that one song I can't even remember which one it was. It was maybe 12 songs on the album. Well, I only got about 9 or 10. And the worst of the worst dude that dubbed the tape left it off. And so I got all the bangers, though. I didn't know. I've never heard the other songs until I bought the CD when I was like 10 years old or whatever.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny, not knowing that songs existed because the guy probably didn't like those songs. So.
Oh no! She told him, she was like, "Cut all the bad ones out."
Oh, by the bad words.
She was half-ass protesting getting Appetite for Destruction for me, but dude, I wanted a fucking shirt with the album cover on it. Dude, I had it up until my early 20s. It was the tiniest fucking little 7-year-old shirt with the skull and the cross and all that stuff. It really.
I love Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses is one of my favorite bands. I can even remember who some guy pulls up playing Welcome to the Jungle in his car and is like, "Guns, baby, guns! Y'all gotta listen to the guns!" And so I got turned on to Guns N' Roses. I've always liked them. So, see what else? This is one of my favorite questions. If the album had a smell, what would it be?
Man,
scratch and sniff this album. What would it smell like?
I would say probably like new toys or something to that effect. Back in the 80s, you crack open a He-Man or whatever, it has that new plastic smell or whatever. I had toys and shit around, so I guess it would be that, because
albums had a smell. It would be, to me, all I could think about is maybe beer, leather, sweat, hookers, real strong perfume, That's kind of what I think of when I think.
You
of that.
got to experience what they were showing in the fucking videos. See,
Hell yeah. I heard many of these. I heard, me and Scotty talked about this last time at the strip club, what songs were being played, but Nothing But a Good Time was always played at the strip club. And there was another one here too. What was it? Look, but you can't touch.
Yes,
That was
yes.
also, that was at the strip clubs too. Would you recommend this album to someone to listen to that's never heard it?
Absolutely. I mean, especially if they were interested in this type of music, or like they liked 80s type stuff. Yeah, I would definitely, because like I say, this album more so than Look What the Cat Dragged In or Flesh and Blood. I only liked a few songs on each of those. But this one, 9 out of 10.
Right. All right. So before we drop off here and go to the B-side, go ahead and plug what you do, Josh. We know you're with the couple podcasts. Tell us what it is.
Well, I mean, as you know, I'm with P3 Radio every week, unless something happens usually, and it's only happened once out of 7, 8 years, however long it's been, and we have a good time over there. P3 Radio,
420 something episode, 27.
It was 428.
28, 428. Good deal. It's one of my favorite podcasts. I listen to that and Who's Right podcast for my comedy relief every week. And I've told you this many times, but it is like I've sat down with two old friends. Me and you never knew each other until you started podcasting. And I knew Richard, but I didn't know you. But yeah, great podcast. And you and Gene and Richard sometimes are doing the USWA podcast. We have a great time on that. The next episode that we're doing, I'm not going to tell you what the album is, but I am going to say this. I have never, and this is one of the reasons I come up with this idea, but this album that the guy is bringing to the table, I have never once listened to it. Not one time. I didn't buy it. I was not a fan of the band, nothing. So it's going to be interesting to see. Guys, y'all know, same bat time, same bat channel, once a month on the best little music podcast in the business. Be there for the B-side. So what did you do on the B-side?
Coming up next is the Patreon portion of Hit Me With Your First Shot, B-side confessions, the After Dark bonus cut out of the episode. This is where the conversation goes a little deeper, a little wilder, and sometimes a little inappropriate. You've heard the main story. Now it's time for the confessions that didn't make the A-side. So pour a drink, turn the lights down, and get ready, because this track is strictly for the grown-ups.
Thank you, Duchess. I appreciate it. And as everyone knows, I love